Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening.
Hold one, Andre.
You're not good at this. Get out. Let me tell you a personal story about Vince McMahon.
You just made the list.
Oh my God!
Sorry, no speak English.
Dummy. Goodbye and good night. Hold two, on bar.
It's still real to me, damn it!
Dummy.
This is the worst town I've ever been in.
Hold three, Lamas covered, three-handle family gradunzel.
Mamma mia!
And now,
Unchained.media presents the B+ Podcast with your host, Greg Unchained.
It's me, Austin! It was me all along, Austin!
number four, armbar.
I will never retire!
I still got 200 more. I got 200 more holes to list.
All right, ladies, gents, and non-binary friends, welcome to another B+ podcast. I'm your host, Greg Unchained. Today is, as I record this, Saturday. I don't know if it's coming out today or tomorrow. It's a bonus episode, so it comes out when it comes out, as my children permit me to edit. We're talking BritWres today. This month in BritWres is probably not a good title for this show anymore, because it's sort of this period of whenever we get to catch up in BritWres. I am, of course, joined by Aqeel the Heel. How are you, my man?
I'm good. Look, I'm a busy man. We record this when we can record them.
Yeah, of course. Time zones and things. I'm busy here as well, so it gets kind of crazy. But it's been a while.
I think it's been about a month and a half. I think
It feels longer than that to me.
Yeah, I think last time. No, because you know what? Last time we were recorded, it was after UK Takeover, and we only talked about UK Takeover.
Yeah, when was the UK takeover? Was that in January?
Yeah, it was like middle of January.
4th of January. No.
No, it can't be. That's Wrestle Kingdom, mate.
12th of January. Yeah, 12th of January. Yeah.
4th of January.
I know,
Greg.
Google just
Greg.
did this weird thing. I've never seen it before. It said, so I Googled NXT TakeOver UK to find out when it was, right? And the top result is the Wikipedia article. And it says, you visited this page 2 times, last visit 4th of the first 19.
I've never
seen that before.
That's so weird.
Yeah. It's really weird. Like, why are you... I mean, obviously, I know they track everything, but I've never seen that information before. And I just saw the date there, and it says, like, so you've got the little blurb thing, and it says it took place on January, and then right underneath that, I saw 4-1. So I thought... And then immediately as I said it, I'm like, no, that's Wrestle Kingdom.
That's a different thing, yeah.
Yeah. It must have been when I was doing my research, but that's so weird that they're showing me when I visited the site last. That's so odd.
I don't like that. I don't...
But yeah, and with that out of the way, BritWres, lots going on. No, not much going on, because NXT have killed the British wrestling scene, right?
Yeah, I mean, we can just end the show here. We're done.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I thought I got fired. I don't know why you keep bringing me back.
The king of BritWres is Wolfgang now. That's a thing.
Yeah. Joseph Connors is the hero we all deserved.
I'm still enjoying NXT UK. I don't have as sour a look on it as you do, but that's because I'm new to a lot of these people. So
I'm not going to lie to you. I haven't watched an episode since that takeover. So
right. Jordan Devlin versus Travis Banks finally got their match. They did like a street fight. It was pretty good.
Cool.
Yeah. But you want to talk about the real BritWres, I presume.
Yeah, I want to talk about real stuff.
What have we got? What have we got this month, Aqeel?
Right, so let's start with the most important thing, which was that incredible OTT video package for Jordan Devlin and David Starr.
Right, not the one with the cheese on the face of the babies.
No, I mean, I would like to talk about that some more. But I think we've exhausted everything.
Yeah, for those who aren't in the know, the last time we spoke to Aqeel was on a call-in show for our Patreon backers, and he tried to bring up this video clip, but Danders somehow derailed it into talk of throwing cheese on babies' faces.
You know, it was worth it. It was worth it.
You can go back and listen to that one in the archives. It's been released now for public consumption. But yeah, the OTT video package, how freaking good was it?
It was, I say this with no hesitation, it was the greatest video package I've ever seen in my life. It was better than Austin Rock, My Way. There was nothing that can even slightly compare to it.
It's kind of a different one because it's far more cinematic.
Yeah, it's really cinematic. So OTT have used this guy, Crooked Gentleman, I think his name is, and he does all of their video packages. They've done a lot of really, really good video packages, but this one was just, it blew everything out of the water. It's like 4 or 5 minutes. It goes over this entire story, which I think...
4 or 5 minutes? Didn't it go for like 12 minutes?
You know what, Greg? I don't like that you're showing me up on my own show. Maybe you're fine.
I'm sure it went for 12 minutes, because I remember because what happened was there was an Australian video package released for Mick Moretti, Jack Bonza for Fight for Black Metal.
Yeah.
And it was a similar style. They were sitting down talking about it, and it had the real cinematic trailer feel. And I showed that to my I got into a bit of an argument with someone online who said that they were just ripping off the OTT one. Yeah. And I was like, first off, these things take a while to make. So I don't think that, I think that like from the time frame that the OTT one was released to the time frame this one was released, this one was already in the works. So as far as I can tell, it's not a case of a direct ripoff, but more just that cinematic style is sort of something that's in right now. And yeah, the PWA one was fantastic. And I was sort of showing it to my partner to see if she thought it was a direct knockoff or which one she enjoyed more. And I remember her saying she liked the PWA one more because A, she knows Jack Bonza and Mick Moretti because we've been to shows, and B, it was 4 minutes and something seconds, whereas the other one was about 12 minutes, and she thought that was a little bit excessive. She also thought it was funny that it just started raining out of nowhere.
You know, it was all real. It's supposed to be like dramatic, you know. Rain is. It was 7 minutes 29 seconds, actually. By the way.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm exaggerating, but it was longer. Yeah, it was longer.
So anyway, this was an incredible video package going over just their entire... So Jordan Devlin and David Starr have had quite a long... I mean, not long, but they've done a lot storyline-wise in OTT in the last year or so.
Yeah.
It's long by modern wrestling standards, let's put it that way.
Yeah. It's an incredibly well-told story.
Yeah, and it's really, really simple. Jordan Devlin and David Starr are best friends. Jordan Devlin loses to Volta. David Starr has been trying to beat Volta for about 2 or 3 years now. And just when it looks like Jordan Devlin is finally going to be able to beat Volta himself, David Starr ruins the match and costs Jordan Devlin the match. So Devlin is now pissed off at Starr, going, look, I was going to win back my title. What the fuck are you doing? You're supposed to be my friend. And David Starr is like, look, I understand that, but I want to do this thing before you because it means more to me than it does to you. And there's a very clear heel, there's a very clear face in all of this. But
yeah,
you can still sort of go, look, Starr is a bad guy, but I see where he's coming from. And I think that's what makes...
Yeah, well, because the story starts with, obviously, David Starr was obsessed with beating Volta, right? And
Yeah.
then in tagging with Jordan Devlin, it became their thing.
Exactly.
Right? Together. And then he feels like then when Jordan Devlin goes on and has solo matches, he feels like Jordan Devlin's kind of taken his thing. And he's like, no, this is my thing. I have to beat him. I was trying this first. You can't just swoop in. Like when we were doing it together, sure, but you can't just swoop in and do this without me.
Yeah, I've been trying to do this thing for longer than you have. I deserve to be the one to finally do it.
Yeah, it's a really, really human. I don't know. There's so many shades of grey. I don't agree with you that there's a clear good guy and a clear bad guy. I mean, obviously, because if you explain it that way and say, yeah, Jordan Devlin came in and took this thing that was someone else's, like he sort of took his friend's life almost. Like that makes Jordan Devlin the bad guy.
Yeah, but I think you have to add the context of the fact that Volta took Jordan Devlin's title from him in
Yeah.
Ireland, right? So not only is Jordan Devlin trying to beat Volta, he's trying to defend his homeland.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
his homeland
From the evil German invader.
from the evil
That's a
German.
dangerous story.
Yeah, yeah.
But no, it's
Austrian.
it's very human and very nuanced, and I think that's why it makes, like, especially the video package tells the story so well, and then having the video package air directly before the match, like that match felt bigger than almost anything.
Yeah,
Ever.
and I know a lot of people that were, after watching the video package, were looking at flights to Ireland to go watch this match. That's how good of a video
Right.
package it was.
Right, and they didn't care before.
I mean, everyone was into it, but like, no, people were like, "Look, it's a shame I can't go," but whatever.
Yeah. So that's the thing. That's the great thing about video packages, is they're an art form of their own, and when you can distill a year's worth or 2 years worth of story, and you can distill that into 4 minutes, it's amazing what you can do. And they had some good material to work with, so it was incredible, and it's really upping the level of production across all of the indies. Like I said, guys over here have taken notice of it, and they're like, there's a joke on Australian wrestling Twitter that, you know, he started a war with Party Boy Jax, because Party Boy Jax was putting out, you saw the Matty Wahlberg promo, right?
Yeah, the one on Jimmy Havoc.
The one on Jimmy Havoc, yeah, and it was very cinematic in its feel, and just, I mean, obviously the delivery of the promo was fantastic, but the way it was shot and the way the music swelled underneath him and stuff, it was very cinematic, right? Same sort of style. And so, yeah, the running joke on Ozres Twitter, or Aussie Grap's Twitter, if you ask me. But yeah, the running joke was that he started a war with was that the OTT video guy has started a war with Party Boy Jax, who does the videos over here.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fun time to be a wrestling fan.
Yeah, because we'll see it happening all across the world. Like everyone will pick up their game to try to have the best hype packages, which is a good thing.
Yeah, and I mean, hype packages play a big role in getting you hyped for a match. I think it's an art form that's sort of been lost on the independent scene, because everyone's trying to be PWG, where it's just matches for the sake of matches.
Yeah, I hate that.
Yeah. So what built BritWres and what OTT seem to be doing very, very well is just telling simple stories, and just going all of the way with them, and not really bothering as much with bringing in the hot new import.
Yeah. And so that was, the video package was for Homecoming 2.
Yes.
And I watched most of Homecoming 2.
Right.
But that match opened the show. How do you put that match as the opening match on the show?
You know, I appreciate them starting off the show hot. I think if you'll notice, if you look at the show as a whole, it opened with that. I think match 2 was Eerie Ilya.
Yeah. And then Pac versus Walter.
Pac versus Walter. Obviously, all 3 of those matches feature NXT UK talent. So it seems like they had to fly back right after the show for whatever reason.
Right.
And so that's why they did the matches early. It was weird at the time. It was really, really weird at the time. Because you started...
Yeah, in watching it, I'm like, those are the 3 main events. Like,
Yeah.
what's going on? Yeah.
Yeah. So what did you think of Star Devlin? What did you think of that?
It was incredible. It was incredible. And those 2 package pile drivers at the end were the biggest package pile drivers I've ever seen in my life.
It was, it was an emphatic win. It was an emphatic win by Jordan Devlin, I think.
Yeah. Well, the hesitation after the first one. So he hits that first package pile driver and it was huge. Just drops him on his head, and then he hesitates.
Yeah.
And when he goes for the pin, he realizes, I'm being an idiot, hesitating, picks him up again, dumps him on his head again, and goes straight for the pin and gets the win. And it was amazing.
Yes. And did you see after the match Jordan Devlin sort of went to console David Starr, because they're still friends.
Yeah, like cradled him. Yeah.
Because this is still his former best friend. You know, that's a more realistic response of, look, I hate you, but also we did have this relationship at one point, so I'm not going to completely tell you to screw off.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of
friends fight.
friends fight. There was a lot of other subtleties. I don't know if you caught. David Starr came out to the theme music that he and Jordan Devlin used to use as a tag team.
Yes. I didn't know that it was their tag team music, but that makes a lot of sense. And the music was hilarious to me, and it pissed off Devlin very much so. Yeah. What was with the tights too? Because the announcers were calling attention to the tights. Oh, he had the word loyalty.
He had the word loyalty
on his tights.
He had the word loyalty in Gaelic on his Irish. I don't know what actual language. It might be Gaelic. Please don't hurt me. He had the word loyalty in Irish written on his tights. His tights were the Irish flag as well.
The Irish flag, yeah. Which we know how old mate Devlin feels about Ireland.
Exactly. So it was an incredible match, but there's also these really, really cool little subtleties going on as well. It was just phenomenal.
Yeah.
It might be my match of the year right now.
I can see that. Yeah, I can definitely see that.
I haven't seen the rest of the show.
Right. So Ilya Dragunov Shigehiro Irie was a really good match. I've seen some people online being confused about Irie. Like, they see big, beefy Japanese boy and they expect him to wrestle like Goto, you know?
Yeah. I think part of the issue is when he came over, the first sort of match he had was with Volta.
Right.
So everyone saw that match graphic and were like, okay, this is a big, beefy boy going against Volta. He must be like a big hoss sort of wrestler. And that's not really what he is.
No.
And it's a shame.
No.
It's a shame because a lot of the matches he seems to be getting is placing him in that role of hoss wrestler.
Yeah. Yeah. But he's having a good European tour. I'm enjoying watching his stuff. This match with Ilya Dragunov was, I feel like his matches with Bobby Guns were probably the best series he's had over there.
The Bobby Guns matches were so good.
Yeah. I love when he does the springboard splash off the rope, how he goes back into the ropes and then hits the splash.
Yeah.
It's such a good looking move for him.
It's so cool.
Yeah. But no, how do you feel about Ilya Dragunov being signed to NXT UK? I feel like you're probably going to have feelings about this.
You know, so I've known about this for a couple of months now.
Sorry, Mr. Insider.
I'm so sorry. It was reported. Dave Meltzer reported it months ago.
Yeah, well, that's like us with Jonah Rock, right?
Yeah.
Like, Jonah Rock, we kind of knew he was going. He had his whole farewell tour and stuff, but there's never an official word until they show up in those photos as the new Performance Center class.
Yeah. I think my point was more because this is not come as a complete shock. I've sort of accepted, look, it's a shame that this guy is going, but he's going and we're going to have to just move forward. It's good, again, good for him. I don't know if he's going to be used right, but I can say that about literally everyone that gets signed. But look, go make that money. That's all I say. Go make the paper.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like they're probably going to completely misunderstand who he is and put him in with Volta and try to form a new ring camp, but with Ilya Dragunov. That's WWE booking.
So it's interesting you say that because the breakout match Ilya had was actually against Volta last year.
Yeah.
At 16 carat. Yeah. So if they put it with Volta, I'm not going to complain.
Yeah, but I feel like they're better as opponents, though. You're right.
True,
but I can see them putting them together for some reason, like just because when you look at them, it kind of visually it makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, you mentioned 16 carat, and 16 carat is happening right now. Should we talk about that, or should we keep talking about the card? Because then you've got Park vs Volta, which it was Park vs Volta. It was insane. The fingers. Ugh.
So, okay, there's two different ways we can go with this, and I want you to keep all of this in because, screw it, they get to know my process. I want to talk about I want to talk about Pac, and I want to talk about 16 Carat. You decide which one we talk about. Let's talk about Pac. I've decided.
You've decided. All right, good, because you can't just put that on me, man. Yeah, let's talk about Pac.
Let's talk about Pac. So Pac has been back on the Indies now for a couple of months.
Yep.
It's become very, very clear if he's just not going to take a pin anywhere. He hasn't been pinned since he's come back, basically.
Yeah.
And I think that's really hurting him at this point because you're putting him in all of these really big dream matches. You have the Volta match, you have the Ospreay match, you had the Zack Sabre Jr. match, but every single one is going to this weird sort of DQ finish or time limit finish or some kind of nonsense.
Yeah. Yeah. But just think about the pay he's getting and how much of a star it's going to make Hangman Adam Page when he finally pins Pac.
Listen, I don't care. No, that's wrong. I love Hangman Page. I'm sorry. No, actually.
Do you think that's what's going on? Because Conspiracy Greg, where's my hat? Here it is. Conspiracy Greg here. I think that billionaire Khan family are funding his little European and Japanese indie states, and they've dictated that he won't take any pins because they want to make Adam Page the ace of AEW, and so it will be bigger when Adam Page pins him. That's Conspiracy Greg.
I mean, it is completely plausible. Tony Khan was at Rev Pro High Stakes, which had Pac versus Volta. He was at that show.
So let me connect that string.
Yeah,
got it.
Just add them up. So it is plausible.
I feel like it makes sense, though. It's a good business decision, to be honest with you. If you're AEW, why wouldn't you be throwing money under the table to keep your people, to keep like your interests strong?
Yeah. I think the issue comes where you also have to add in the fact that he's Dragon Gate's champion right now. So it might be Dragon Gate saying, look, you're our champion. We don't want you going around taking pinfalls.
That's true as well.
It could also be just Pac himself going, you know what? I realize I'm a big, big star. I don't want to be taking pinfalls for a while until someone like Hangman Page or whatever comes along and is finally the one to beat me.
Yeah. I actually don't even think Hangman Page will beat him at Double or Nothing, to be honest.
I don't know, to be honest.
It's hard to tell. Like, obviously they have big plans for Hangman Page, but do you just pull the trigger straight away on your first show and have him have a huge victory like that? Or do you have him do the whole path to overcome sort of thing? So, and Pac is a great villain to have to overcome. He's a great first stop on the road.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think even at Double or Nothing, Pac will walk home still without being pinned or submitted.
Yeah, completely plausible. I think the bigger issue is people in this country are now getting tired of Pac because we know the match isn't going to end decisively, so why do we care?
All right. Well, let's yes,
talk about this.
I agree with you. But let's talk about the wider issue here. Are BritWres fans the worst?
Ooh, that hurts.
because you guys seem to like nitpick at everything. Like, oh, it's never gonna have a clean finish, so I don't care. But like, I mean, take the Zack Sabre Jr. match for example.
Yeah,
it was fantastic. Minus there was the shenanigans with CCK that were a bit off, but it was a fantastic match.
I thought it was fine. Personally,
I enjoyed it when they kicked into high gear, especially towards the end, like the last 10 minutes. And I guess that's sort of the criticism. People like they do nothing for 20 minutes and then they have a good 10-minute match, which I can see that. But I felt like it really built to that crescendo for me, and then I was like all in. And a lot of the time, I'll be honest, a lot of the time when I'm watching some of these shows that I know someone like yourself is going to sort of have picked up a bit of the slack. I'll be writing while I'm doing it. I'll be changing nappies while I'm watching, all that sort of stuff. Like, I have other things that I do at the same time. Otherwise, I would never get to watch the amount of wrestling that I watch. So, the first 20 minutes being a bit slow is okay for me with the way I watch wrestling.
Yeah, but I think I don't like it personally. I think it's a waste of time. Look, even you're a busy man. you could get through more matches if there wasn't this boring 20 minutes, you know?
This is true. But then, would the 10-minute match be as exciting if it's just that every match is like that? You know?
No, of course not. Of course not.
There's two sides to the coin.
Of course not. I think my larger issue is, going into every Pac match, we know the finish. Or thereabouts, we know the finish. And that hurt.
Yeah, you know you're going to get some kind of screwy finish, or just Pac wins, yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's what's hurting things. It's not the case of we're going in going, we're not going to get a clean finish, who cares? It's more we're going in going, we know what's going to happen, so why should we get invested in any of the drama?
Yeah. I can understand that. But then, like, what happens when it just randomly on some random Rev Pro show in 2 months, Chris Ridgway pins Pac? You know?
Look, if that happens, I will do a podcast talking for an hour about how great NXT UK is.
No, but it doesn't, like, if you don't have this, yeah, especially because he's a heel. So, heel at the top, impossible to defeat. When someone eventually gets that upset victory, it's a huge, huge thing for him.
Yeah, but I think there's a difference between if he was pinning all of these people clean, I would be fine with it. I think it's the fact that it's DQs and draws and all of this nonsense. I think that's what's hurting it.
Yeah. Well, it does come down to the politics too, because he's wrestling other champions.
Yeah, I mean, it's an incredibly complicated situation. I understand that.
Yeah.
And back 10, 15 years ago, less than that, what am I talking about? 5 or 10 years ago, this is how wrestling used to be, where champions weren't really doing taking clean pins. And I get that.
Yeah.
So on some level, I'm complaining and being spoiled, but screw it. This is what wrestling is in 2019. Just fucking get pinned. Who cares? It's fake.
Yeah.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Hey everyone, just want to take a second to tell you about one of our new sponsors, Outbreak Nutrition. Outbreak Nutrition are creating supplements for survival, sharper minds, quicker reflexes, all the energy you need to take your performance to the next level, whether that be on the field, in the gym, on the gaming field. That's right, they have specifically designed gaming supplements as well to help you focus on those late night sessions. They even sell coffee, you guys, at Outbreak Nutrition. You can get coffee pods, you can get coffee beans, you can get supplements for the bedroom as well if you want to enhance your performance there. These are performance enhancing supplements for every aspect of your life, specifically designed by gamers, for gamers, to stay fit and healthy in the gym, to stay sharp and focused on the game, and to dominate in all areas of life. So check out outbreaknutrition.com, and for being a listener of our podcast, they will give you 10% off your order when you enter the code B+. That is BPLUS at checkout. So make sure, if you want to stay on top of your game, if you want to take your performance to the next level, outbreaknutrition.com, enter the code B+ at checkout. Alright guys, just before we get started, I want to take a second to tell you about a game I've been playing on my iPhone. You can get it on iPhone, you can get it on Android, all their tablets and what have you. It is called the Muscle Hustle app. They are good friends of the show, and they were hooking us up with codes to sort of help you guys get ahead if you were to decide to play the game. But unfortunately, in the latest software updates with iTunes and what have you, the codes aren't working. So we're trying to get that fixed. But in the meantime, if you click the link in the show notes and download the Muscle Hustle, it's a fantastic game. It's you collect wrestlers and train your wrestlers up, all with unique individual gear and everything to raise them through the ranks from jobber to superstar to legend. You go around collecting the titles, and you can even play with your friends. So unfortunately, no leg up to offer you, but if you hit the link in the show notes, it will let them know that we sent you, and it'll help us out, it helps them out, and it helps you out because it's a really fun game to play. So check out the Muscle Hustle app on iOS, Android, and all your mobile devices. The link, of course, is in the show notes. Hey guys, just a reminder, if you want to hear all of these wonderful B+ podcast episodes completely ad-free, make sure you head over to Patreon or Podbean, where we are the featured podcast this week. You can subscribe for as little as $1 a month up to $10 a month, where anything you want to help us with, it really helps out. It's going to help us grow the site. It's going to help us redesign some things, and everything that we get through this and through the advertising as well is all going straight back into the podcast so that we can get Aussie Graps out there for the rest of the world to hear about, for the rest of the world to see, so we can grow this mission of watch global, support local, and build indie wrestling. So if you want to be a part of that and get some really cool rewards like call-in shows, bonus episodes, ad-free like I mentioned, then head over to patreon.com/theb+ and subscribe today. Yeah, well, it's something that I actually really, really admire about Gino Gambino over here. Obviously, Gino Gambino is the Melbourne City Wrestling champion, right? And he'll go to other shows. So Iron Fist. He took a loss to Tommy Knight at Iron Fist, just on a random Iron Fist show. It wasn't a random Iron Fist show, it was their first show. And he'll show up in other indies in other states and take losses and put guys over. And he's the Melbourne City Wrestling champion, which is arguably the biggest company in Australia.
Yeah.
Right? He's not allowed to be advertised as, at least I don't know if he is, like, I don't have any insider knowledge on this. I'm just saying, when I look at it, he's never advertised as MCW World Champion. Right?
Yeah.
He's always just advertised as Mr. Juicy Gino Gambino. And that Mr. Juicy thing kind of separates him from MCW as well, because he's shed that character.
Right.
But I like it when, even though he's the champion, he's allowed to be elsewhere taking pins. And I think that's a brilliant, brilliant thing, because it builds up the rest of the scene.
Yeah. So now imagine if Mr. Juicy was going around everywhere doing half an hour time limit draws. You'd get annoyed.
Yeah, and countouts and, I don't know if I'd get annoyed.
You'd be less.
Yeah, maybe.
Or
maybe.
You'd be less invested in watching his matches.
Yeah. Well, I definitely like if he went to a time limit draw with Tommy Knight. First off, that would be impressive to see Gino Gambino go 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I love Gino Gambino. I'm sure he has gone 30 minutes in the past. I'm just having a rib. But no, it would I'd actually still enjoy that, because that still puts both of those guys over to have them going 30 minutes. But for Park and Zack Sabre Jr. going 30 minutes is like, it's a walk in the park. These are people at full gear and all that.
Yeah.
But no, to me, I guess it doesn't change too much. It changes a little. Like, I am always like, is he going to put someone over? Like, yeah, I suppose I see what you're saying. I do see what you're saying, but I still think BritWres fans are the worst. Like, you guys nitpick at everything, and if something isn't perfect, you're like, cancel Park.
Oof. These are heavy shots. Greg. You're not allowed on this side of the planet, Australia.
This side of the pond.
Equator. You're not allowed on this side of the equator. That's what I'm going to say.
I can't go north of the equator?
Nope, not anymore.
Oh, man.
I'm so sorry. I'm in a real
That's
weird...
alright, those flights are expensive.
I'm in a real weird mood this podcast, We talked about...
It's alright, I'm just sitting here calling you and everyone you know the worst kind of wrestling fans, so...
Can we talk about the Cheese Baby again? That was...
Cheese Baby.
That was more fun.
Cheese Baby. No, let's talk about 16 Carat. Talk about 16 Carat. I feel like your feelings about Park are out there in the universe now. He's going to vanity search himself and get very mad at you.
It's fine.
No, I'm enjoying it still. I'm still enjoying Park's work. I think it's just good to see him out there living his best life, because he looked miserable in WWE at the end.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, he still looks miserable, but there's more energy to his misery.
Yes.
Yeah. But moving on, 16 Carat. It's happening now, right? Like, the first show just ended.
So the first night of the tournament just ended a couple of hours ago. There was
For those who don't know, for our Australian listeners, 16 Carat is a big tournament that gets held in Germany by West Side Extreme Wrestling, WXW. It is West Side, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay, cool. I wasn't sure if it was West Side or Western, but yeah. And so they have like this big tournament that's become a whole to do with all kinds of events around it.
Yeah, so it's a 3-night tournament. What's ended up happening is in the last couple of years, a lot of British and Irish people have started going over and making a whole event of it.
Yeah.
From what I've heard this year, there's like 100 odd people there just from Britain and Ireland to go watch these shows.
Nice.
So you've got the 3-night tournament. There's a shoot style tournament, Ambition, as part of night 2, which has an insane lineup this year. Your boy AJ Istria is over there for it.
AJ Istria. I think they're just calling him Istria. I think he's just punch drunk Istria now. I think he's dropped the AJ. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think it might be just Istria.
Because I know in the marketing it was Istria, and another podcast that I listened to, I'm not 100% sure which one it was because I listen to a lot of podcasts at this point. It might have even been your friends at the BritWres Roundtable were breaking it down.
Yeah.
And they were like, Istria, who's this Istria? I've never heard of Istria. And I was like, I'm going to wait for you to give your email plugs so I can write you a nasty email about how you should know who AJ Istria is. But then I never did it because, life.
It's fine. I actually listened to that same one and DM'd Rob just being like, hey, this guy's really good. Watch out for him.
Good. I'm glad someone gave him the heads up because I feel like sometimes that's my job. I'm like, because I listen to all these podcasts. So when an Australian name comes up and they're like, we're not too sure about this guy, I want to send them a message like, hey, this guy's really good. You should check it out. Here's a match. And then sometimes I get so caught up in what I'm doing that I forget to send those messages and let people know that I'm listening and all that stuff. But it's good that someone did it because AJ Istria is amazing and he's going to fit into that tournament so well. AJ Istria versus Chris Ridgway is a dream match for me.
Yeah.
So if that happens, I'm going to lose my shit.
I'm excited for you. I really, really am. He's actually also taken a couple bookings in the UK proper.
He's going to be at North.
He's working North. I think there's another one. I don't really remember. But anyway, 16 carat. That's what we're talking about. So you've got the 3-night tournament. You've got the shoot style show. You've got a small, what's called Inner Circle is the name of the show. It's like a very small, intimate show. You now have, for the last couple of years, this is the second year they've done it, there's a fan-run bowling tournament, which the wrestlers get.
Bowling! That's what I wanted to get to. They're doing bowling with the wrestlers.
Yeah, with the wrestlers. It's literally just two girls on a podcast, the Sarah and Sarah podcast.
Which I listen to.
Which you listen to. They just won.
Shout out Sarah and Sarah.
They just last year.
Their accents are hard sometimes.
Yeah. I'm sort of used to it, so I...
Fair call.
Yeah. So they 1 year just decided that, you know what, we're going to run a bowling tournament. Wouldn't that be fun? And the wrestlers got involved. And this year, it's become a lot more official, and it's really, really weird.
Yeah.
Because, Sekimoto is bowling.
Don't they do it in doubles as well?
Yeah.
And there's, some odd pairings happening?
Yeah. Dougzilla won it last year with Mort.
Nice.
With Mort. It's crazy. It's really, really weird. Really, really fun. It's become a real sort of destination event, 16 carat and World Tag League.
Yeah. You know what I hear, though?
What do you hear?
I hear that the new, these are just whispers. I hear that the new destination event that all the real UK trendsetters are going to is PWA's Coliseum in Sydney in October.
Right.
They're doing the Coliseum weekend, and I hear that that's where the real trendsetters are heading.
Right, but that's when Tag League is, Greg. What about Tag League?
Well, Tag League's old news, brother. Old news. You got to be on the forefront. You got to see all these people before anyone else knows who they are, before NXT UK signs them, right? That's how this works.
Yeah. Everyone's going to be signed to NXT UK.
I'm never not going to just shill the Aussie Graps, just so you know. Just constant, just shill. But no, it's the PWA Coliseum's happening in October, and it reminds me of this, it reminds me of the 16 carat of the Super Strong Style weekends as well, because that's become a whole weekend event over there as well, hasn't it?
Yeah. It's a huge thing. So first night has already happened. I don't think it's worth
Yeah.
going through all of the results.
No.
The most interesting one is we got another installment in the Volta David Starr series.
Yes.
And I think most people assumed this was the time David Starr finally wins, just because he's been getting a bit of a push recently, and also with Volta signed, who knows how long he's going to be able to stick around for. So
Yeah, and you have to put some closure on that story, right?
exactly. But Volta won,
Right.
which is really, really shocking. I've heard the match was amazing. It literally only happened 2 hours ago, so we're not going to be able to see it for a while.
Yeah. When David Starr does win, though, it's got to be kind of the marquee event, right? Like, people are there for 16 Carat right now. People aren't there to see David Starr versus Volta
No, but I think
as the attraction.
I see what you're saying, but this whole feud really sort of kicked into high gear at 16 Carat 2017.
Yeah.
So it seemed fitting to have it end at 16 Carat again.
Yeah. But if you had it end here, if David Starr was to get the win, then he has to win 16 Carat.
See,
He has to go all the way. You can't have him beat Volta in the opener and then lose the tournament.
See, I slightly disagree with you. I think you can have him win. You can have him beat Volta, but not win the tournament, because his big win isn't winning the tournament. It's finally beating Volta.
I can see that. And I can see, I guess, if he had have won, making it to the final against, say, an Axel Dieter Jr.
Yes, I don't. Axel Dieter Jr.
That would have been cool.
Yeah, Axel Dieter Jr. of course being Marcel Bartel of NXT
Marcel Bartel.
of NXT UK.
Yes.
He's
not NXT UK. He's just NXT, isn't he?
I think he's both.
I guess he's both.
I don't know, Greg. I don't understand these things anymore.
NXT's getting weird, baby.
Look, I think everyone's NXT UK. I think technically I'm NXT UK signed at this point.
Are Sasha and Bailey NXT UK? They've got to be, right?
I guess so. I guess, yeah, because they have the tag titles that lets them go anywhere.
Yeah, so it's like a key to the WWE universe. You win those titles and you're booked everywhere magically. It's amazing.
Do you think, you know how they can show up anywhere? Do you think that includes like Evolve and Progress and all of that?
For sure, it has to, right?
I would think so.
It has to.
Are any Australian companies co-opted? Could they show up in Australia?
No, we don't have any official relationships with them yet.
I see.
I feel like it's probably not too far away,
right.
But we know from interviews that Triple H has said we're working closely with the Australian scene.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Maybe you send Sasha and Bailey around just the world.
Oh well, look, we're getting into WWE talk, but just quickly, conspiracy, Greg. No, it's fine. Just quickly, conspiracy, Greg. This is just another one of Vince's moves, right? Vince's move is Bailey and Sasha are posting about potentially the grass being greener on the AEW side. What do you want, girls? You want tag team titles that lets you go back to NXT all the time? Done.
Yeah.
Right? Because they're happy in NXT. They feel like they've been wasted in WWE and they liked their time in NXT better. So Vince is just like, throw them a bone.
Why are they yellow? I'm just looking at a picture of the tag titles. Why are they yellow?
They're not. They're white.
They've got that yellow semicircle around them, don't they?
Do they?
I think so.
I don't know. I haven't paid close enough attention to her. I thought they were white. They're on the white strap.
Yeah. Anyway, BritWres.
Yeah. But anyway, 16 carats.
That was a weird tangent. I don't know.
This is what happens when we don't talk for too long, man. There's too much to talk about.
Okay, let's get back to it. 16 carat.
But yeah, Axel Dieter is Marcel Bartel. That's how we got there.
Anyway, keep most of that in because that's funny. Axel Dieter Jr., I don't think he's going to win the tournament. I think it's just a case of, hey, let's send this guy over here because it will be cool.
Yeah.
Because also the winner of 16 carat gets a title shot, and I don't imagine Dieter staying around for that long.
No.
I think
No, but you never know with this new WWE and their new contracts and all the weird shit they're doing. I kind of like it. I kind of like how off the wall it is and how you can never know who's going to show up where.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool.
It's pretty exciting.
Yeah, I think it's more likely what's going to happen is Dieter and Walter are going to lose in the second or third round. I don't know how many rounds there are. Second round or whatever. And then on night 3, you get Dieter and Walter in a big tag match against, I don't know, Aussie Open?
Right, an Aussie Open win.
Yeah.
Win Aussie Open, win. I thought similar, but I thought with the Lucha Brothers, because obviously Pentagon Jr. has defeated Mark Davis here on night 1. So I feel like if you had Pentagon and Phoenix both drop out on night 2, and then you can have a big tag match with Aussie Open versus the Lucha Brothers. So I thought similar, but with those guys.
You could also do, I'm literally just basing this off of looking at the results. You've got Ray Phoenix, Ray Horus, and Pentagon Jr. there. You could do those Lucha guys in a 6-way against Dieter, Volta, and Thatcher.
Ooh, yeah, that'd be heaps.
Yeah. Although I guess if you've got Davis and Fletcher there, you have to do an Aussie Open tag somewhere.
Make it a 9-man tag match, throw AJ Istria into Aussie Open.
Yeah, and it can be Aussie closed.
Why? Why would they be closed all of a sudden?
Look, I don't know. Let's talk about something else now.
Aussie Open wider. Because there's 3 of them.
Yeah. Yeah. Aussie Open Sesame.
But yeah, so moving on.
Moving swiftly on. I wanted to talk a little bit about AEW.
Sure, yeah.
More specifically, Jimmy Havoc, Kip Sabian, B. Priestley. There's a couple Brits now signed to AEW.
Yes, indeed there are. And they all seem doomed to be in the over-budget Battle Royal.
No, Havoc isn't, is he?
I don't even know if he's going to be on Double or Nothing. There's been nothing announced for him, and B. Priestley isn't making her debut until Fight for the Fallen in Jackson.
Yeah, it's just Kip Sabian who's in the over budget, and I think that makes sense.
Which is a good place for him.
Because he's not. So Kip Sabian is a dude that's been around for ages. He was trained at the night school, Paige's parents. He's not, like, I'm a big fan of him, but he hasn't had his big breakout yet. And
hasn't he shown up as a jobber on NXT UK once or twice?
Potentially.
I feel like he has, but I may be mistaken.
Maybe. It doesn't stick out to me. It's not something I remember, but, like, it's completely plausible. So yeah, I'm really, really excited for Sabian to get this big shot. Jimmy Havoc, I'm happy for him to get the big money. I think I talked about this a little bit in the Discord. For Patreons only, go support us on Patreon so I can get those dollar bills, yo. I think with Jimmy Havoc, he's a guy that he's done everything he can in England, and he's been here for so long, you sort of forget how big of a star he actually is. So he needs, he's similar to Mark Haskins, who's now sort of left to Ring of Honor, where he needs somewhere else to go to sort of freshen the scene up so that we don't have...
Yeah, well, he comes here and gets treated like a star, as you noticed, when he comes over for PWA and MCW and what have you.
Yeah, so it's better for the scene because we don't have to sort of shoehorn Jimmy Havoc or Jimmy Havoc type people in places. And it's better for Jimmy Havoc because he can go away, be a big star, and in a fresher landscape against people he probably hasn't wrestled.
So the thing is, All Elite Wrestling too look like the home of creativity, right? Like you got guys like Sammy Guevara with his blog stuff that he does, the vlog stuff that he does. You've got, you've got obviously being the Elite guys and the things they do. They like to have these creative video storytelling. You know, they don't do things traditionally, everything in the ring. And Jimmy Havoc has talked about in multiple interviews. You know, he has a film school background, right? And that was what got him into Progress, was doing those doing that whole, book me and stuff, right? With the YouTube and the videos that he did and everything. And I think that he's going to thrive doing some weird shit in All Elite Wrestling.
Exactly. I think he's a guy that really thrives on having a story to tell, and being in a company with it like AEW, which we assume is going to have a TV show, means he's going to be able to tell a deep story, and it will probably be really, really good because.
And potentially find a way to slow down on the bumps on the bump card.
Yeah. What was I going to say? Yeah. Good for him. Good for Jimmy Havoc. He deserves it because as much as I dog on him, he is a big, big star and a big, big reason why BritWres became a big deal. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Good for him.
How do you feel about Bea Priestley? Because I know not a lot of people are high on Bea Priestley. I think she's come a long way in quite a short period of time. With like you see her go over for those Stardom tours, and then you see the next match she's back has improved. Like watching her versus Millie McKenzie at Progress, she's a completely different worker to the worker that we saw here in Australia 9 months ago.
Yeah, I mean she's improving quite a lot, quite quickly. I'm not the biggest fan of hers in the world, because I think there's women better than her, but she's a fresh enough name who hasn't really done anything on a real major scale that I think it's a really good signing. I think what's really interesting about not just the Brits that AEW are signing, but the people they're signing in general, there's not people that are big, big stars, but they're people that are fresh, are interesting, and can do stuff, but haven't done it yet.
People who could be big stars. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
A couple other notes on the AEW thing. There was a couple rumors that they're going to run the Royal Albert Hall.
They shot that down though recently. Cody shot.
Oh, did he? I didn't hear that. Well,
I mean, never believe anything a wrestler says, but...
No, so they actually can't run it because there's a quite major event going on there at the same time. It's called the Proms. It's a big, orchestra event that happens every year. So it's booked anyway. There is potential, and this is more just me sort of putting some pieces together. So Tony and Shad Khan actually tried to buy Wembley Stadium a couple of months ago, actually. Right. So they obviously have links there. I could see, if they do run a show in the UK, I could see them running the smaller Wembley, the SSE Arena, where Progress ran and where NXT TakeOver was.
Right.
That's not really news. That's just me putting on my own conspiracy hat.
Yeah, no, it makes sense, to be honest with you.
Hey, Greg.
As a test run.
Hey, Greg. My conspiracy hat has a little propeller on the top of it.
A little propeller?
Yeah.
Really?
That's
cool.
Yours?
No, mine's like a Sherlock Holmes style deal.
You know, I always imagined it was more like a tinfoil hat.
No, it's like a Sherlock Holmes style deal because I'm a conspiracy detective.
I see, that's very different. Okay.
Yeah. I considered having a conspiracy mask, and it'd just be the guy from True Detective. Fuck, what's the actor's name?
Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, Matthew McConaughey from True Detective. Just the mask of him when he was looking all strung out.
Yeah.
It's my conspiracy mask. But no, time's a flat circle, Aqeel. It's a flat circle.
Yeah, everyone is NXT UK.
AEW already happened.
What if AEW is NXT UK? Don't even know what that means.
Well, at least you're not saying it's just WCW.
What if it is?
But speaking of NXT UK and speaking of the British scene being raped and pillaged, have you seen... Sorry, that was bad. Have you seen... did you watch New Japan last night?
No, but I heard...
I'm springing this on you. This is not in any of our notes.
I heard El Phantasmo's Bullet Club.
El Phantasmo is Bullet Club.
Yeah,
That's BritWres,
yeah,
right?
it is. So the rumors of El Phantasmo in Best of Super Juniors had been floating for a couple of weeks or months now.
Yeah.
The fact that he's Bullet Club makes it seem like he's going to be there more long term, which is really, really exciting, because I think El Phantasmo is a guy. I've talked about it quite a bit on these shows. He's a guy I really like. He came over here about a year or two ago now. It took him a while to find his footing, but he's become a sort of a mainstay. I would call him one of the better high flyers we have here working regularly. I'm very, very excited. It might be, and this is just a thing I've thought now, it might be because he's a Rev Pro regular, it might be they've made him Bullet Club so that there's always more of a New Japan presence on Rev Pro shows.
That's what I was thinking. A Bullet Club Rev Pro chapter.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? I really want to see him and Robbie Eagles team for a little bit. That would be amazing.
Yes. Them as a junior tag team so that Taiji can focus on, being the champion and stuff is a really good idea. Like I'm frothing at the mouth for a potential Robbie Eagles and El Phantasmo tag team in Rev Pro, or obviously in New Japan, but in Rev Pro as well. I would love to see them. I would love to see Robbie get booked over there in Rev Pro.
Yeah, it would be great. It would be great. I'm super happy for El Phantasmo. I'm super excited for him to get a bigger stage. Good for everyone, really.
Yeah, no, that's all I've got on my agenda in terms of BritWres. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about?
There's two things we could quickly talk about. Fight Club Pro is a company I've talked about quite a bit. Well, not quite a bit, but I've talked about. So
it's Trent Seven's company,
yep. So they recently launched an on-demand network on Vimeo.
Oh, nice.
They used to be selling shows individually, which was a bit of a hassle. They now finally have an on-demand network. They're another company I dog on quite a bit, but there's some cool stuff in their backlog, and I think people should go out of their way to watch some of it.
Can they partner with Attack and put Attack on their network too, and then it'll be worth it?
I thought that's what they were going to do, because Fight Club Pro and Attack are obviously very, very close. I don't know why Attack hasn't got an on-demand network yet, but I also don't understand why it took Fight Club Pro so long to get one. So...
Yeah, so Pete Dunne, if you're listening, lease your library out to your mate, because I want to watch more Attack.
Also, Pete Dunne, if you're listening, stop listening. Do better things with your life.
This is my gimmick, man. I just assume everyone's listening. We have one listener per month in Japan. I swear to God, not per month. Sorry, we have like maybe we get like 5 listens per month from Japan, and I'm like, it's the head office of New Japan. They're listening to our King of Sports cast. It's the only explanation, because it's the only show they listen to.
Clearly. They should be taking your booking advice.
Yeah.
I've literally never listened to a King of Sports cast, so I don't even know what you talk about.
Oh, well, we don't just talk about New Japan. We talk about Rev Pro, Ring of Honor.
Wait.
CMLL and New Japan.
Wait. Rev Pro is my gimmick.
Yeah, well, it's King of Sports, man. It's part of that universe now. Mikey stole it from you.
Mikey.
Yeah. We don't watch everything, so we sort of talk broad strokes and then, focus mostly on Ring of Honor and New Japan, because those are the ones we watch the most.
Yeah. Do you talk about the
we expanded?
Do you talk about the women's tag titles being portals to other dimensions? No. That's why you listen to the BritWres podcast.
Portals to other dimensions. So we go back to the time being a flat circle. Those women's tag team titles are going to get defended against the Jumping Bomb Angels any day now. Wait, it already happened.
And it will happen again.
Yeah. All right, I think we're done, Aqeel.
I just want to quickly, one more thing.
Yes.
ICW ran their big Royal Rumble style show. It was won by the heel of authority figure. ICW is shit. Don't watch it. Good night.
But they did also produce DCT, who is here in Australia letting loose, being a heel. You can actually listen to a really good interview he did on Talking Stick podcast. So shout out JXT. He does his whole Talking Stick thing where he does really in-depth interviews with Aussie wrestlers and wrestlers in Australia. So DCT was on there, and it was a really good interview. He tells a bunch of stories about ICW and moving to Australia and all that kind of stuff. So the DCT fella seems like a good bloke.
Yeah, for the record, all of the wrestlers in the ICW are great. ICW itself is shit. Good night.
Okay. And where can people find you if they want to dispute that fact?
You can follow me on Twitter at Aqeel Khalid, AQEELKHALID. You can send me a postcard, I guess.
If people want to argue directly with Aqeel, I'm happy to set up an Aqeel versus call-in show on the Patreon where people can call in just to abuse him as a representative for the worst kind of wrestling fans, the BritWres fans. Let me know if that's something you want to hear. You can find me at Greg Unchained on Twitter, at the Greg Unchained on Instagram. We collectively are the B Plus Wrestle on Twitter because wrestling wouldn't fit. The B Plus Wrestling everywhere else. Like, share, subscribe, 5-star review if you like what we do. And thank you so much for listening.
Hold one. Arm drag.
You're not done with this. Get out. Let me tell you a personal story about Vince McMahon.
You just made the list.
Sorry, no speak English.
Dummy. Yeah.
Goodbye and good night.
Hold two. Arm bar.
This is the worst town I've ever been in.
It's still real to me, damn it!
Dummy.